Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 2 In-Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the B23R machine pistol, which is by far the most commonly used secondary that I see online, and I've been using it a lot too, but let's skip straight to the stats and take a look at why that is. It deals 45 damage in close quarters combat, that's 45 per shot, but will drop off to 19 per shot at a distance. What this means for you guys is that it will kill between 3 and 6 shots, depending on how far away you are, or 1 to 2 full bursts. And by the way, did I mention this was a 3-round burst pistol? Comparing damage, it's not quite as high a damage as the 5.7 or TAC-45 with their 2 rounds up close, but the Cap-40 is almost exactly like this at also 3 to 6 shots to kill, but the damage is a little bit different. Let's skip over to the RPM. I've had quite a lot of trouble with the RPM. I'm relying on a stat chart that has a few errors in it, a few wonky things that I'm working with, and the reported RPM on that stat chart is 675. That's been accurate for most of the weapons I've dealt with so far, but this one is, it just doesn't seem quite like that. So I tried to measure the rate of fire of the burst and then of the whole thing, and my whole thing numbers were similar to that 675, but my burst RPM was closer to 900. There were some difficulties with that, including the fact that the time that the bullets shoot doesn't always sync with the time that your gun shows that explosion, and especially the countdown in the bottom right with your magazine doesn't sync with either of those, so I did have a lot of trouble nailing this down. I believe the burst RPM is faster than that 675 that's reported on the stat chart, and my initial feel for it was that it shot as fast as the Cap-40, which was 900 RPM. Speaking of which, and burst, I don't think this weapon has a burst delay, and that would directly contradict my total RPM finding, but it seems very easy to overburst this weapon, like the 93R in Battlefield. All the other burst weapons in Call of Duty's games past had a burst delay of 0.2 seconds or a fifth of a second. This one just doesn't seem to have that, or maybe it's just considerably slower. It feels very easy to overburst and shoot it at nearly fully automatic if you get the timing right. The 3-shot kill range on this pistol, which is probably the most important thing you can glean from this in-depth, is 13 meters. That's the range at which one burst kills somebody, and it shoots very fast, so it does kill them rather quickly. After 13 meters, you're going to need more than one burst, and outside of that range, you're probably going to be missing a little bit anyway, so it might be 2 or 3 bursts. So I'm going to give this one a moderate to slow time to kill. It's got a very high fire rate, damage is kind of moderate, the range is, you know, acceptable for pistols, but you do have a tendency to miss at range, so I'm going to give it a moderate to slow time to kill. Definitely not as fast as the TAC-45, and it's very competitive with the Cap-40. However, the recoil is low considering the fact that it is a machine pistol. Not as low as the 5.7. It's definitely lower than the Cap-40 and TAC-45, but not the lowest one. It's a low to moderate recoil. At close range, you will have absolutely no recoil problems, which is where you should be using the weapon to begin with, but at longer distances, the more moderate recoil will kick up and you'll notice yourself missing people. It reloads in about 1.1 seconds, a little bit slower than the semi-automatic pistols. It's got a lot of factors that go into it. If you're reload canceling, if your magazine is empty, is full, extended mags, all this other kind of weird stuff, but about 1.1 seconds you'll have her reloaded. It has 105% knifing speed like the rest of the pistols with the exception of the TAC-45, so you can knife very fast with this one, and you can run at 100% speed, nothing abnormal there. Like the rest of the secondary weapons, your swap time will be extremely fast. You can pull this one out much faster than you can reload any gun. It is 1/100th of a second slower than the other machine pistols, but you will absolutely never notice that. It's just a very fast swapping weapon that you can pull out and dump on people. Even a lot of people use it as a primary. It has a fairly large magazine, the same as the Cap-40 of 15, but the extended mags go up to 21, which is very nice. That's a bigger extended mag boost than most of the other pistols in the game. I have a tendency to run this one with extended mags because I burst very quickly and I run out of ammo, and that gets a little bit annoying, but you know, laser is also a good attachment for it because I also have a tendency to hip fire. I like to get in people's faces and spray with it. If you're going to run attachments, I would recommend extended mags or laser. However, most of you are probably going to run this as a secondary with no attachments, which is also just fine with me. And my recommendation for this weapon is that you should probably use it as a sidearm because it's very easy to master. I don't think it's the most dangerous. I don't think it's the most accurate. It's definitely not the most damaging, but it is very easy to use. The recoil is very predictable. It shoots fast. It kills easily. You won't have any problems with it. This one is very consistent all the way through, which is why people like it. You can pick it up and get a feel for it in 2 minutes and master it, and that's why I would recommend you using it if you're looking for a very handy, dependable sidearm that you don't have to do anything funny with. Well guys, that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you'd like to check out my previous episode on long barrel, you can click the annotation on the left, it'll open in a new window, or if you would like to check out the next episode, which is going to be on the fully automatic machine pistol, the Cap 40, you can click the box on the right, which will also open in a new window. And if you enjoyed the episode, as always, don't forget to subscribe. Drifter out.